Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is called Parshas Re'eh. All the portions of the book of Devarim are a countdown to the high holidays. Each portion has its own unique special message to help us prepare for the high holidays and a good and sweet coming new year. How does this portion begin? Re'eh Anochi. See God. A Jewish person is supposed to see God in everything that they do. Towards the end of the portion, there are at least 6 verses about the idea of tzedakah, charity. The very interesting talk from the Rabbi Shaul Leiter that there are some words in Hebrew that are mistranslated into English. One example is the word for tefillah. Tefillah is translated as prayer. Prayer means, the word prayer, I pray to you, means to beg. No, prayer means to connect. When a Jewish person prays, he's supposed to be connecting to God, to come away feeling that his relationship with God is clear and secure. What about the word tzedakah? Tzedakah is translated as charity. Charity means I'm charitable. The emphasis is on the giver. Okay, that's not what tzedakah means at all. Tzedakah from the word tzedek, righteousness, that a person is given discretionary income because it's a commandment. He must give it away. If he keeps it to himself, he's doing something wrong. What does God want us to do? He wants us to choose to where the funds are supposed to go. And that's very interesting what it speaks about in this week's Torah portion. The verse says, in one verse, in the 4th verse of the 15th chapter, it says, Lo yelecha b'cha evyon. You're not going to have any poor people. 4 verses later, in the 7th verse, it says, Ki yebecha evyon, when you're going to have a poor person. Okay? Why no poor people? And yes, because the first thing about Judaism is we have to know that if there are poor people, we caused it. It's because we're not being careful enough with Torah and mitzvahs, so God's causing us things to remind us to get back on track. Not only do we have to help the poor people, we have to also improve our mitzvah observance. Okay, one of the things that the Torah portion says is how do we do the commandment of tzedakah? Right, so the verse is very clear. It says, Ki yebecha evyon, when you have a poor person from one of your brothers, in one of your towns, in your land, okay, the land that God will give. What is that talking about? So it means the first thing is to see how whoever is the most poor, he should get the funding first. And then achicha, if it's your brother, if it's part of your family, they're next. And third, if it's in your town, they're next. And fourth, if it's in your country, they're next. And also, the pasuk is reminding us that the land of Israel, no matter where you live, has a special conduit, a special merit to give tzedakah in the Holy Land. Now, the verses continue, right? The verse says, this is now working on the 8th verse. It says, Patoach tiftach. It says, you certainly have to open your hand to each poor person. And Rashi says, the main commentary says, even a few times, right? And then 2 verses later it says, nice and titain. You certainly give the poor person. And Rashi says, even 100 times. What's going on here? Because patoach tiftach, you have to open your hand, is talking about with one person. Somebody could be a nudnik. Somebody could be, he makes you crazy. But you have to give him even again because he needs it. What if a person doesn't want to take the money? You know he's poor. You have to force him. You have to push him. And if he doesn't want to take, even lend him the money. Whatever. That's the idea of patoach tiftach, to open up yourself to the other person. What about nos and titain? Rashi says even 100 times. That's talking about giving charity over and over and over again. The more that we give, the more we transform the world from something negative to something positive. I just want to share one more idea. The verse says to open up your hand. It's so interesting. When a fist is closed, look at the fingers. They're all the same size. Okay? When a person opens his hand, each finger is a different size. What does that tell us about tzedakah? When a person doesn't want to give, how does he justify it? How does he rationalize it? You know what? Let them work like I work. Let them save money like I save money. Why should I give money that I work so hard on for them? That's a closed fist. When a person opens his hand, he realizes each person has different struggles. Each person has different challenges. And that God wants us to have mercy on them and to share with them. That's what we have. That's what we feel when we have the open hand. Shabbat Shalom.